Welcome back to Module 2, the practical and lab. This should probably be a little bit longer than the labs because we're covering 3 lessons, but we're going to be doing things like setting up groups. We'll be jumping into PowerShell and doing a few things there, and organizational units as well. So there's a few things that we need to check off as we go through this. So we'll jump straight into it, and we'll do a little bit of Active Directory first, and we'll be testing these in our Windows 10 machine. So we'll log in and out and so forth. Okay. So in the first lesson, what we're going to do is actually log in our computer into the domain itself. Now, I've already done this, but I'll show you how I've done this myself. So just bring up our Windows 10 machine. For some reason, it decided to switch itself up, so need to load that. Might be a second. Okay, so it looks like we're up and running now. Just need to do a bit of cleaning up here. For some reason, my recording software just played up a bit, but there we go. Beautiful. It looks like I'm kind of all over the place with my screen. Anyway, let's so what we're going to do is we're going to do other user. I'm just going to log in as the client, as the local, and yep. So client PC1, and we'll do administrator. We'll log in as local. Okay, password incorrect. What I've decided to do is create a brand new Windows 10 machine where we will do this from scratch, because you know what? I was going to do this in another lab anyway, when we're going to have 2 different users with GPOs and access to different folders. So might as well do it right now. So I'll just wait for this to finish and we'll continue this lesson. Excellent. So we've installed another Windows 10 machine. I'm just going to call it Windows 10-2. Nothing extra. I might rename these a little bit later on. But this is a computer that's part of its own work group. It's not part of the domain. Whereas this one over here, this other Windows 10 machine, it's part of the domain, and it will log on as Mark Smith. This will log on to the domain. Whereas this Windows 10 machine actually is not logged on to anything yet. But let's do that. So we go to right-click, System. This is a little different than Windows 2016. I can just rename here, but I want to join to the domain as well. So I need to scroll down and go to rename this PC. We'll go to change. I'm going to call it client 2. Client 2 should be okay. And the domain is the Harry domain. Now I've linked this virtual machine to the private network that the virtual network I've created. So this should work. It's going to go out and find that. It won't work because we don't have an IP address for it. So let's create the IP address. We don't have DHCP on this network, which I really should, to be honest. I should put DHCP somewhere, but I'll just put it static for now. So it's Ken. One of the most annoying things is a numlog. When you're jumping in and out of virtual machines, it's going to drive you crazy. But never mind that. Default gateway. There is no default gateway really, but we'll just put something in. And the DNS server is going to be our Active Directory. All right, so that should be okay. Let me just do a I always do this out of habit. Oops. I should do command ipconfig Yeah, that's taken hold. Sometimes you configure it, and it's good to double check here because sometimes we might have forgotten to press apply or OK. It's good practice to just always double check. All right, let's try that now. So at the moment we're in work group. Oh, that's good. So I'm going to put the administrator's details for the domain. We should be able to log on now. So welcome to Harriet domain. We'll jump over to DC. And okay, so let's log on. I've got screens everywhere. It gets a bit confusing sometimes. But when I restart this, when I refresh, client 2 pops up, populates. So that's the, I should name the client PC2. Doesn't matter. It's only a lab, but I mean labs we should be perfect things in labs, but anyway, I'll go back to Windows 2, and now I can log in to as Harry PC or other user, and let's leave that for now. So we have now logged on this computer to the domain, and that was one of the exercises that I really wanted to do. I'm just going to leave this for another time, and we'll go back to the domain controller because now we are going to have some fun with PowerShell. So I'm going to type in PowerShell. I'm going to use ISE, and you'll see why in a second. Run as administrator. We're doing some administrative work now. And if I go to view and show script pane, and I'm going to copy the commands. I'm not going to type all the commands out. Oops. Hang on a moment. What are we doing here? Okay, yeah. So media clipboard. There we go. So I've copied and pasted. So this is ISE. I can see everything here. This is what I like about ICE, ICE. And these are the commands that we're going to run. Let's go through these one by one. So the first one is we're going to do the organizational unit first. That's the commandlet. The name is going to be marketing. I just want to check out, so we've got sales and management already there. So if we don't need to create those again. So marketing, I think we saw marketing, didn't we? Oh, management, okay. So I'm going to run this one at a time, okay? Now watch this, it will populate there if the command is correct. This is, I've got, all right, so let's run that. And all I do is, I don't press the play button. If I press the play button, everything will deploy. I want to do this one by one, so I do run selection. Now it doesn't say if it's confirmed or not, which is kind of annoying. But if I go to Active Directory here, and I click on refresh somewhere, or go to Harry and then refresh, there's marketing. There's nothing there at the moment. That's fine. Now I'm going to select these two at the same time. I'm going to run them together. And that should work okay. Let's go back to our Active Directory. We'll refresh that. We'll click on Harry and then refresh it again. There we go. I've got call center. I have management, marketing, sales. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I already had 2. I've added 3. So there's my organizational units up and running. Sales, I've got a few things going on in here because I created this in earlier labs. Same with marketing. I don't have anything in marketing. I've got management. That's right. And I've got IT. I'm just going to get rid of advanced features because it's just annoying me. There's too much. There's overload. So I've got the IT department, which I've created. It's a really easy command. There's nothing mysterious about it, but it's just remembering and then making sure you've got it configured correctly. All right, so the next one is, and I've just noticed for some reason it didn't carry over. That's really strange. Let me double check that. Oh, that's right. I wanted to create a new user. I'm not sure why that didn't move over. Copy, and I'll just fix that. Really strange. I don't know what happened. All right, great. Now, just something very interesting. Let me see if I can make this screen a bit bigger first. Let's have a look at that. So we'll go to View, zoom in. Yeah, that's a bit better. All right. So you'll notice here where it says the path. That's the Harry domain, comma DC equals It is really strange. They've set that up, but that's just how it is in the Microsoft world. Not much we can do about that. It's a bit bigger for us. So now what we're going to do, now that we've got the organizations up and running, we're going to add a new user through PowerShell. This new user, his name is Mohammed Ahmed, and the SAM account name is m.ahmed. That's the name that he will be stuck with. And the path, we're going to put it in the marketing organizational unit, in the Harry domain. Okay. Then we'll do Tony Singh and then Michael Nguyen. Again, I press the selection. It doesn't tell me, doesn't confirm that it's been okay. But if I go into, if I refresh that, you'll notice that Mohammed's in the marketing team and it's disabled. And so there's, it doesn't look like there's a password there either. And the name's not filled out. There's a few things, there's a few jobs we need to do to complete this, but we will have a lot of other options here. We'll put the passwords, we'll add the address, we'll add other things as well. They're very long comments, but this is going to be enough for our example here. Let's run those two as a selection. Again, if there's errors, it's going to tell you. But there's no errors, so it's not telling us. Just refresh. Marketing, management, IT. Maybe refresh that again. There's Michael Nguyen and call center Tony Singh. Let me show you of an error. I'm going to do an error on purpose. Because you'll get lots of errors here. Just going to write blah, blah, blah. And then I'll run that selection and it's going to tell us, I'm sorry, can't work. Not going to work out. I guarantee you're going to see, when you're doing PowerShell, you're going to see these red scripts all the time. Okay, next one, we're going to add a new group. So in the sales team, we've got the Sydney group and we've got the Melbourne group. I want to create a new group and I want to put members in this group, even if the members are in other organizational units. Interesting. Very, very interesting. We can do that, no problems. Well, we'll see if there's problems or not. And so the first one is create the group name, put it in. I just realized that this is the wrong name there. I believe that we should be calling it Brisbane. And it's a security group and it's domain local and the path is in the sales. All right, let's see if that works. Yep. Again, we don't get confirmation that it's working. Well, we've got Melbourne and Sydney there. Refresh and there's Brizzy. At the moment, no one's in the Brisbane group. It's created. That's why I like to have a graphical user interface when I'm training, when I'm learning about this, because I can see this visual. I can visualize this later on when we're experts. We know everything about PowerShell and we know everything about domain controller, DNS, DHCP, all this stuff. We're absolutely experts. We won't need the GUI anymore. And there'll be times when you'll be logging onto operating systems that don't have a GUI over the internet, which is very powerful and handy. But let's learn how to walk before we can fly. All right, so I'm going to add these group members to sales. And I'm just double checking I've got the right command. So this is the sales group that I've just created. And I'm going to add M. Ahmed, T. Singh, and M. Nguyen, which you'll notice is their principal names. see if that works. I've got a feeling that might not go through. Yeah, I'll need to double check that. Add group member sales. I'm going to pause the video and I'm just going to quickly double check this. I believe that because I've got a dot there, I might need to put these in bracket in quotation, because if it's only just the name without a dot or a space, if it doesn't have a dot or a space, let's run that. No, it's still not good. There's something else that's not quite right. I'll investigate this further. All right, let's try something else. Let's create a user in the Brisbane. Maybe let's create a new user, copy, create a new one called no, something else, Lisa O'Brien. Which is O'Brien's always a tough one to when we're putting it in, because we're going to need to O'Brien with apostrophe. We never really put it. Let's try this, and we'll put it in the sales OU. See if this takes hold. Okay, that's good. We get rid of that, and we put L O'Brien. No, still not happy. It shouldn't be capital letters, sales. Yeah, I'm going to investigate this. Add group member sales. I'll investigate this and I'll be back very shortly. I think I may have found, I think this is just a typo error. Let's go back a bit. I've got a feeling that, yeah, I know what I've done. I know exactly what I've done. I'm trying to put it into the organizational unit there. That should be Brisbane, not the organizational unit. Maybe just a logical error. Oh, it's still not going through. Maybe we'll get rid of those quotation marks now. There we go. Oh God. Let's check this out now. So we've got where's Brisbane first? So it's up there. Refresh that. Let's where's Lisa? She's there. Brisbane and members. There we go. So did you notice what I've done with the PowerShell? I made an error there. It's the group there. For some reason, I had sales in my head, which was organizational unit. Again, if I had my documentation as I'm doing things, then I can tick it off and I wouldn't make these mistakes. Very common mistakes, and you will make heaps of these mistakes. Try not to do them in a production environment. Think carefully, take your time. Now the command to actually get the group members from this particular group, Brisbane. Let's try that now, and it'll tell you who those group members are. Let's go back to the Active Directory. Now you'll notice that these members, Tony is not in sales. Tony is in call center. So we can add users from other groups or other organizational units into that group. Very interesting. Why you would do that? Say for example, you've got call center, IT, marketing, sales. You can create a group and add members from other teams over so you can work on a project together. That's why you would use those groups. Or create a folder where you only want to grant access to maybe one person per organizational unit. Okay, so the last part of this episode, we've looked at the organizational units. We've seen how we've set it up. Let's delegate. We'll do a couple more things to these users. So I've got Lisa that I've created. I'm going to delegate Lisa as the manager of this organizational unit. So I've got an organizational unit, which is sales, properties, managed by, quick change, and we'll give it to Lisa. Lisa is a disabled user at the moment, or that Lisa's user object is disabled, but she'll be able to log on once it's not, when it's re-enabled. But Lisa will be able to control this OU and be able to do things in this organizational unit. So as she can delegate her tasks to others as well. One more thing, and then there'll be for the practical. If I try to, I'm going to create a new organizational unit. And I'm going to call it blah, blah, blah. There's a little box here with a tick on it, protect container from accidental deletion. Now I'm going to leave that, press OK. Now, that's silly. Why would I write blah, blah, blah as an organization? That's unprofessional. It's terrible. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to try again. Okay, so I'm going to delete it. Won't let me. This is a protection. Are you sure you want to delete organization? I'll go, yes. I can't delete it, but I can. I'm going to right click, properties, and I can't see it there. What's going on, Harry? You said that we can. I've got to go back to view, advanced features. I'm showing you this because from personal experience, I spent 4 or 5 hours wasting my time because I wasn't concentrating. So there's blah, blah, blah. If I put a view and advanced features again, remember I took it off before. I'll right click it now, properties, still there. But there is protect object from accidental deletion. Select that, apply, okay. Now I can delete it. There you go. See you later. You're out of here. Awesome. So that's that is that's in a nutshell. We've finished our practical parts of it, and yeah, and I really hope you enjoyed this module 2, which is all about Active Directory. The course is only going to get more interesting as we go along. We haven't even touched GPOs yet. That's really exciting. That's where the real power comes in, where we actually get to control how people can, like for instance, in your organization, are you allowed to go into control panel? Are you allowed to install programs? Can you change your screensaver? Can you save your passwords? Can you change your passwords? What happens if you incorrectly put the passwords like 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row? Well, group policy, we can manage all that. It's really exciting and fun. But I really hope you enjoyed the course so far. I would love to hear feedbacks. So for module 1 and 2, if you have any feedback that you'd like to give me, I'd really appreciate it. And but in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed the course so far. I hope you enjoyed module 2 with the theory and also the practical parts. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in module 3. You have a great evening or great day or morning, great weekend, and we'll see you soon.